good to go.
You just came. Well, you said you came from a sporting event. What was it?
Oh, it was my stepson's. It's like a football meeting or whatever. We met the head coach and whatnot. Seemed pretty cool.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
What
they haven't
what?
been really good couple of years.
Yeah. What grades you going into?
Oh, he'll be a junior, so he's never played football, man. He's actually like been in the band for a long time. I honestly thought he was going to get a scholarship for band because he was really good. And
Yep.
don't even ask me what instrument he played because I don't know music at all. Uh, she said the trombone.
Trombone. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Like
So yeah,
marching band style stuff.
what now?
Was it marching band style
Yeah,
stuff or
yeah,
just yeah?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he did that. I don't know for how long did Braden do that.
He did band. He actually marched year early, so really from like 6th grade through, I guess, 4 or 5
What's
years.
up, fellas?
Doug,
What
what's up,
up?
dude?
Chilling. I was just checking to make sure y'all hear me.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Dig it. So how's everybody feeling?
Good, man. I just trained. Just trained. I
You
like
train in the evening.
yeah. Rush back here. Train back tonight with Shay. I'm exhausted.
I hear you, bro. Training
On the
back has become my favorite day because I finally understand how to fucking train back.
yep.
I need to train back with you, Doug, because I still don't know how to train it.
It's tricky, man. Like, and that's kind of like some of the things I definitely want to touch on today as far as like the connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to squeeze your back is not difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kick myself in the ass now because for so long I just really didn't have the proper understanding of how to develop a back. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know how to train back until I became a bodybuilder. Like, a back day to me before I became a bodybuilder was some lat pull downs and some cable rows. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're from a football background, you
uh-huh.
know, we trained for, performance and explosion and stuff like that. So the exercises were just limited in getting into bodybuilding. It's a skill.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, you got to learn how to not allow certain muscles to engage, to isolate the muscle you're trying to train. And it's so funny when I pick up new clients and I'm trying to explain to them um, simple things that I didn't notice until it was brought to my attention. And now when I look around the gym and I see people training, I'm like, yeah, he's training more shots
Mm-hmm.
than anything else. He's not getting no chest engagement out of his pressing, rolling his shoulders. I'm just able to see things now that I just never, when if you don't know, you don't know. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So it's just real interesting now when I look around the gym and I see people training and I can tell if they are like, a current athlete, a basketball player or a football player, because I get a lot of athletes that'll always say, man, yeah, man, I'm trying to gain muscle. And I'm like, well, you don't train like you're trying to gain muscle. You're still training like an athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Which you can incorporate some, different exercises in a training routine. But if you're specifically training to build a muscle, you have to understand how to connect.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the things I always tell my clients now, like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, I wouldn't have learned these things if I didn't directly train with my coach, because prior to that, I was training, I was following the regiment, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's one working load of 10, but not really understanding in my 10 reps, am I getting proper range of motion? Am I stretching the muscle? Am I
Right.
contracting the muscle? Does rep 10 look like rep 1? You know what I'm saying? Or after rep 4, or my reps getting sloppy and I'm not getting that connection. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And it's just been real cool to learn, with training with my coach and just watching my body continue to develop. You know what I mean?
For sure. I
But
feel like with
uh-huh.
back training for me is like it was always the weak point. Still is the weak point, right? Like that's still like my goal to bring up. But starting throughout my career, it was like a bad connection. So I tried to make up for it with just moving heavy weight.
Yeah.
In my mind, it was like okay, if I can't feel the contraction, let me at least load up enough so something's gonna work.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it got me to a point, but at some point you do have to refine your training
Mhm.
and hook up with somebody that can tell you, yes, this is correct. And exercise selection's huge too, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like exercise selection for me, finding the movements that I do
You
connect with,
connect with. That's right.
and then mastering those movements, like that
Yep.
was huge for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because even like when you think about it, you're only gonna get so strong, right? And at some point as a bodybuilder, you have to start, like you said, refining your movement. Let's say you
Yeah,
can row 405, right?
yeah,
Can you row that 405 and when that bar gets to your stomach, can you control it to a complete stop, squeeze and engage your back to allow your
yep,
back to feel 405 pounds and then slowly release it? Most people can't do that.
yep,
No,
You
you
know
see
what
a
I'm
lot.
saying?
You see a lot of people with shit ass form row that 405, and they
Yeah.
have zero back. It's like I think we were talking about last week, like breaking down the muscle because like I was having the same issue with my chest, and Chris is like, literally, let's break this down to where you're doing minimal weight and doing like 135 and actually connecting and figuring out exactly how you're engaging with the muscle, and then
Yeah.
you can build up from there. That's
Yep.
the big key. Like you can roll 405. Yeah, I've seen people roll 405, but I've also seen those same people with the shit ass form and they have
Hmm.
zero connection and
Hmm.
they have zero like width and depth in their back.
Yeah. I'm always amazed at people now that have that density in their back. I mean, listen, and that's why I say it's cool because I'm still like a baby in the sport, right? Like I'm still at that point where I'm still learning things. And I remember being backstage at the Olympia and seeing um Sean Andres, that guy Oleg who won the New York this year, Andres, um, Kamal, and I'm looking at their backs, and I'm just like amazed at the how thick it is. You know what I'm saying? How it just pokes out and shit. That was when I was like, yeah, there's another I gotta hit. You know what I'm saying? Like I thankfully won my pro debut, but I was like, yeah, there's a whole nother level where I'm not even close to. You know what I'm saying? Seeing a lot of those guys and just the development. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it, bodybuilding is it's a sport, and like I was saying, it's a skill to learn how to build your muscles to have the better proportion, size, shape, symmetry, and conditioning as anybody else. So when you lack connection somewhere, that's a weak body part.
for sure. Are y'all getting feedback? Can y'all hear like feedback?
I
Yeah,
hear
I am hearing.
I gotta figure out who it is. 1 second.
it might be Tug because he's on the ear pods.
Yeah, I'm on the AirPods.
That
All
might be
right.
it.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna just like mute everybody one by one and see if I can figure it out. That's okay. I think it might be the AirPods. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me take them out. I thought it told me to put them in so that I wouldn't have none.
There's no feedback now. Now that they're out.
Yeah, they're out now.
I think it's. I think it sounds better now.
Yeah, I put them in my case, so they're not even.
Oh no, I'm still here a little
No,
bit.
it's still here. Yeah.
Can you guys try and flip your phone sideways too? I know a couple of people said that last time. I don't know if it works.
I flip mine sideways, but then I'm kind of like upside down.
Will it rotate? Like whatever you call it?
Oh no, that's rotating my camera.
Yeah, that's what it was doing with me. That's why whenever I was flipping my camera, it was acting weird. Like this is what it looks like when I flip it.
Oh, it just so it doesn't actually change it. It keeps it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
I mean, I'm
Sorry.
not gonna see. Let's see.
What y'all boys do this week?
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
Trey
there
got it. Yeah, Trey got it.
yeah. I just went to the little settings or whatever, and I got it to where when you flip your phone, it goes with it or whatever.
Oh, like the lock thing?
Yeah. Maybe that'll be good.
Yeah, I don't think I got that in my settings.
Just like if you can swap down and then hit that unlock it or whatever to let it twist, and then when you twist, your phone should adjust with it.
You say in my settings?
I just do the big swap. Like I swap down where you can go to Wi-Fi and stuff.
Hold on. How do I get them out?
I think it's making the feedback better too.
Hold on. So how do
Yeah, it looks better now that I got my stuff sideways.
I don't know how to get into my settings.
Just if you can do the swap
Yeah,
big,
swipe down and then
you see that one where it twists your camera or whatever, where if you probably got it locked.
Yeah, I think it probably did.
And then if you hit it, it'll unlock it, and then you flip your phone, and your phone should flip with it.
Yeah, see when I flip it.
Is it
Hold
unlocked?
on. I'm very computer illiterate and
Hey, me too.
I'm a real old guy when it comes to these things because I just don't. My daughter shows me a lot of stuff.
Well, you know how like if you watch videos and like you can unlock it, and then if you flip it, it does it like big ways or whatever.
Yeah, I think
And then
yeah.
there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
No.
let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I seen the lock thing, so I'm like, oh, that must be what he's talking about.
Yeah. What'd y'all get into this week? We talked on the group chat, but anybody do anything? Anything fun, or was it just bodybuilding?
Just work and
Yeah.
body.
I'm trying to think. What did I do this past weekend? I didn't really do too much this weekend. I got a women's kickball team, so we had our playoff game on Sunday. We lost.
Okay.
We got our ass kicked.
So you guys get knocked out?
Yeah, we got knocked out. We got 10-run ruled in the fucking 6th inning. I was fucking pissed. We had 5. I had 5 of my ladies missing, but it's still fun though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was pretty cool. What was going on Saturday? Because I think I was trying to keep up with the USA's. Wasn't that this weekend?
Yeah.
USA's was this weekend.
USA's was Saturday, and then the Dubai show was on Sunday.
Yes, the Dubai show. Now listen, man. The motherfuckers over there are putting something together.
Oh, $500K for like overall, like
yeah, man.
A total package. They went from like 250 and now they're doubling it. So I mean, like, you're gonna see some serious guys like jump in that shit.
The money, man. I mean, listen.
Don't be surprised if Hottie jumps in that shit. Like, Doug, one thing that pissed me off, dude. Like, I see the payouts, and they do. Yeah. I think they posted it on buys and tries. So, like, the open winner won $100K.
Yeah.
Then it went $60K for classic. Then it went $40K for men's physique. And $20K for 212.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
212 gets no love,
I just think that's some bullshit.
And it's gonna continue to get so over there in the Middle East, they like collect bodybuilders. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought it was bullshit that the 212 got hosed. Like,
yeah, man, they always do that. I mean, I don't know what the rift is, I mean, because when you think about it, a lot of the 212 guys get just as big as some of the open guys and squeeze down in that 212. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Bo told me he got up to 250. I'm like, what the fuck, bruh? He was 250.
Wait, already?
Well, before he prepped for this season, he bulked up to 250. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit.
That's a big drop.
Fuck yeah, bro. That's 40 pounds. I did that shit one time. I said, never again.
You know what's crazy? Every prep, I stay leaner in the off season, but I swear I cannot get away from this 35 to 40 pound drop every time.
Oh, yeah.
That's like that's what my body wants to take off.
But
You have like freaking outlined abs in the off season, and then all of a sudden, like you're like, shit, I'm in good position. I'm only probably gonna have to lose 20 to 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And then you're like 30 pounds deep, and you're like, your coach is like, yep, we still got like 10 or 12 or more to go. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. The cool thing is though, now, bro, you don't got no weight class. You don't got to make no weight limit no more. You know what I'm saying? And I will keep it 100. It's this last time cutting down to 212 it wasn't easy. Like I could tell it's gonna continue to get harder. It was just like when I was an amateur if I didn't get my pro card, when I got my pro card, I was moving into the heavies next year. There was no fucking way. I don't even know how I got the 198.
What'd you weigh at Atlanta?
211.
Damn, right on the,
right there.
Really right on the cusp.
Yeah, right on the cusp. I mean, and you know, a lot of the guys are kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So I depleted down to about like 205. Like my weight would not go.
All right.
My weight would not go below 205. Then when we started the carb load, I weighed in at 211. But I know at some point I'm gonna be like, man, fuck this. I'm going in the open. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody really understands like the stress it puts on your mind and your body when you got to hit a fucking weight class. You know what I'm saying? And then, like you said, you think you're getting there, and then your coach like, "Now we got another 10 to lose." You're like, "Man, do I got 10 to lose?"
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to cut off my fucking arm. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like you have to hold back on training and stuff in the off season too, just like growing wise, just because you can't, you know.
Y'all want to see something? This is what I did this weekend. Not change the subject, but I'm proud of it. I went to my first Renaissance fair here in Tampa.
What?
I was expecting this to be like, you know, like at a fairground, like a couple hundred people. It's Maine, right? Like they can't have anything that crazy.
Dude, they ain't got nothing else to do up there, bro.
Bro, we pulled up. I had to park a mile away. We walked a mile to get to the fairground, and it was absolutely packed. It was crazy, though. I had a great time. I got this. Yeah.
Oh, word.
Got a goddamn samurai sword over there. This is like fucking Step Brothers all over again.
I got one of them too. Hold on.
Do you have Randy Jackson sign it?
So you got that at the fair?
Yeah, I got that at the Renaissance Fair. I probably paid too much for it, and it's not worth that much money, but I was like, I'm leaving with something.
Oh, shit.
I heard
okay,
that.
What up, bruh? I got this in my last overall.
Hey!
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Doug, where you at, bro?
All right, I guess I gotta grab mine now.
Oh,
Oh, you gotta fucking grab it, bro.
This is definitely gonna be the thumbnail for the episode.
This is
Yeah, we need
definitely
to hit a
gonna be the
pose.
thumbnail.
I got 3 of them.
Dang.
All right.
But
sure.
this is the one I won in Georgia the year I turned pro.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that one's sick, man.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah. Shit long as hell too.
I never got a good sword for an overall.
Yeah.
This is the one I got.
I always wanted like a sword or a shield or like an
I want a shield. That was one of the reasons why too. I'm gonna do the Tampa Pro next year for sure.
That's
I want
what they
a shield.
give? They give a shield?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm doing Tampa next year as well.
Yeah, Tampa.
I ain't gonna have a shot at the shield, but
Tampa's a nice show.
Yeah. My buddy Nate's doing it this weekend, so that show's goddamn loaded. Every 212
the
classic
Tampa.
and open.
Yeah, you got to come with it or go home. You know what I'm saying?
Tim Gardner puts on a great freaking production, man. Like,
yeah, I mean, and it's Tampa, Florida, man. I mean,
nice.
You know, it's Tampa, Florida. After your show, you can hang out. You know what I'm saying? There's so much to do down there. They got the casino down there with the pool that's open to the public. My pops lay down there, so I really wanted to do it. I really wanted to do the Tampa this year, but you know, understanding bodybuilding, it's like I don't want to beat my body up. I still got some good years left, and everything's got to count. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm at this point, man, and it's like no disrespect to nobody else's process. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just I think differently about these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if I do a show and I don't make top 5, you'll see me. I won't compete for like another 2 years. Like that shit would be fucking. To me, that's the bare fucking minimum. Top 5. You know what I'm saying? Because anything other than that, I'm just showing up. And I ain't trying to just show up to nobody but a competition. This shit is hard.
I think that's how everybody should be, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you know, not everybody thinks like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people really be fucking delusional.
Oh, there we go.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, they think, you know, they make second call outs at one show. They think they're gonna make first call outs at the next show. And it's like, nah, bro.
No way, dude. It's like it's a pure example. Like, no offense to like I respect Rubiel, you know what I mean? Like he definitely he was conditioned to a certain degree this past weekend, and me and Mike were chatting about it. And I didn't get to see it. I saw one clip that the bodybuilders on Borders put up, and I was just like, damn. I'm like, he is huge. But then like you look from the waist down, and
he's got a lot of maturing to do.
Yeah, he just doesn't have like the lines yet. I mean, like once he puts it together, though, man, he's top 5 at the Olympia. It's not even a question.
And that is gonna be the X factor, right? Because think about it. This is bodybuilding, and one thing Seth told me when I turned pro was this. He said, you know, when you turn pro, Doug, he was like, everything's up to you. He said some people turn pro, they have good careers, some have great careers. And he was like, and some people you never hear from them again.
Yeah, and that's the beauty part about Seth. He'll tell you the truth straight up.
Yeah. So he like, you know, it's up to you what you want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, but you know, there's a lot of bodybuilders that come in and they're not consistent and they fall off.
Yeah, they don't they'll do one show, realize that they're not where they need to be, and then there's 2 paths that you go down. Like I feel like after your pro debut, you either go down the path of being more driven and motivated to be a better bodybuilder, and that's what you really want to pursue, or you do the show and you're like, maybe this isn't for me, and you know, I got my pro card, and because as the old saying goes, like you're an amateur. If you're a good amateur, you're at the top of the game. And then all of a sudden you turn pro, guess what?
You're right back at the bottom.
You're right back at the bottom, and you're
right back at the bottom.
Up. You know what I mean? And I'm like, everyone's going to go through that at some point in time. You know what I mean? Especially if you have those, you know, aspirations of turning pro.
The growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that some people get misguided through social media a lot, you know what I mean? Because they see so much of the success stories and the highlights of the top amateur guys who just have superior genetics, and they were able to get there fast, you know what I'm saying? But I always tell people, it ain't like that for everybody, man. Some people got to really, you know, I heard Hollingshead talking about how when he first turned pro, how many times he's experienced losing. Like, he was like, the beginning of his career was just all losing. You know what I'm saying?
Doug, it happened with Jay Cutler. It happened with Ronnie. Ronnie was like dead last at his first Olympia. And then he ended up being one of the greatest bodybuilders ever walked the face of the earth. So you're going to take your hits. You're going to take your falls. But it's a matter of, do you want to get back up? Do you want to keep grinding? And do you want to put the work in to get where you want to go? I mean, like I said, there's only 2 paths. That's it.
Yeah. Somebody, I was listening to a podcast recently, and they said something that just makes sense. It's like, yeah, that's obvious, but it makes so much sense. It's like, if you lose, it's like, all right, it's time to saddle up, time to get back to work. But if you win and move on to the next level, it's like, all right, you still have to improve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of wins or losses, this is the game. The game is improvement always.
Yep.
There's no rest. There's no
Nope.
like that
That's
was
why.
good.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
I tell people all the time, no matter win, lose, or draw, we get back to the drawing board. Because
Yeah,
if you win, you
Doesn't
still got
matter.
to get better for your next show. If
exactly.
you lose, you got to get better for your next show. It don't matter. Either are you going to make the improvements or not?
Yeah. It's just one hurts a little more than the other.
Yeah, that's a fact. Especially second place. Second place hurts like a bitch, bro. Like, to me, that is the worst placing ever, bro. Like, when I tell you, when I took second at the Pittsburgh in 2019, it changed my whole fucking mindset, bro. Like, and then I read that book, Relentless, by Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's personal trainer. That shit turned me into a fucking savage, bro. I don't know how my mindset switched when I read that book and took second place in
Doug, who ended up beating
2019.
you at that Pittsburgh Pro?
He ended up turning pro, Antonio Cummings. So I wasn't even mad. You know what's funny? Hoydick, Brian Hoydick was in the back. I'm standing. I had just came off winning the West Virginia. I wasn't even going to do the Pittsburgh because me and Morgan had a plan. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first started bodybuilding, I didn't know nothing about like local shows. Like, I only knew of the Pittsburgh. So that was the first show, the first two shows that I did. So when I learned about smaller market shows, I did one, and that was the one my coach coached me for. And after that, he said, before we do big regional shows, we got to dominate the local circuit. It's a strategy. So we did that, and I wasn't gonna do the Pittsburgh because I didn't think I was ready. And Morgan was like, "You could, but we want to go in and win it." You know what I'm saying? But Gary saw me at the fucking West Virginia, and I won that. And he's like, "You got to do the Pittsburgh." I was like, "I don't know." He was like, "I'll talk to Morgan." So we ended up doing the Pittsburgh, which actually worked out. Even though I lost, it worked out for me in the best way possible. Because for one, I needed to be humble, because that was my second overall that I won, and I started to feel like I was better than I was.
Yeah.
And when I showed up at the Pittsburgh, it was funny as hell. Brian Hoyt is with Antonio Cummings in the back. He looks at me, and Antonio says, "We got to beat him." And he pointed at me. I'm like, "Man, I'm like, fuck you talking about?" He's like, "We got to beat him." Didn't point no fucking body else out but me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm pissed.
I don't like having a target on your back from the get-go.
Yeah, so I'm pissed. But they were cool though. It wasn't like no animosity or no tension. But I'm like, all right, because I looked at him the same way. I felt like he's the guy I gotta beat. I wasn't worried about nobody else. So they made us pose, bro. I mean, that was the first time I experienced judges making you pose to earn your spot. And there was a few times that I didn't really keep my midsection in check. So that was the feedback that I got back from the judges after that, is to have better midsection control when I'm on stage. Man, that whole year I did vacuums like my 2019 pictures and my 2020 pictures, my midsection shrunk completely different. You know what I'm saying? And that was the lesson that I got out of that. You know what I'm saying? It was also difficult too. Like, you feel like you're gonna win the show. It's in Pittsburgh. It was my third time doing it because the first two times I didn't have no coach. I didn't know. So I'm doubling back. I done won the NPC Elite, then I won the West Virginia. I'm like, I gotta win this Pittsburgh show. You know what I'm saying? But it wound up being a blessing in disguise for me, because that next year I couldn't do the Pittsburgh because they canceled it because of fucking COVID. So I drove down to Georgia and I won that sword that I just showed y'all, and then went in the North Americans and I won my pro card. And you can't tell me I wouldn't have won the Pittsburgh in 2020. I don't give a fuck who would have showed up.
Yeah, they were talking. I mean, like, it was Think Big Bodybuilding. It was Dusty Hanshaw and Ron Parlow's podcast the other day where they were talking about like the midsection and control and everything like that. And Dusty was like, man, he's like, I looked at pictures and he goes, I had no idea how I didn't finish any higher. And then all of a sudden somebody showed me video of my midsection control. And he's like, I don't even know how I made the top 5 because like my midsection control when I was transitioning to different poses was freaking out. Like it was outrageous. He goes, I should have never been in the top 5 based on what I saw there. So, I mean, you see so many people, even pros, they lose their midsection control. And it's like, amateur or pro, regardless of the situation, like I feel like you have to have that midsection control in transitioning into poses, or even if you're on the sides, like the first call
you can't never let your gut out.
Call outs there, and then all of a sudden you see everyone freaking relax and they're standing there, and I'm like, if you don't think that like Tyler and Steve and Sandy and all these judges aren't looking like to the side, not just in the first call out, if you don't think they're looking to the sides to see who's standing there and ready to go, then you're out of your fucking mind because I really think that they do.
No, they definitely
you're on stage, you should be prepared from start to finish until you walk off the stage.
Bill flat out told me, you never let your gut hang out when you're on stage.
Nope.
Never. You know what I mean? Standing on the line, you got your one opportunity when you're hitting your rear poses where you can get your breathing. You know what I'm saying? They can't see your stomach. But other than that, and then they also don't want to see hard and heavy breathing in your midsection when you're hitting your front double, when you're hitting your front lat spread. You shouldn't be breathing hard. You shouldn't be sweating. You know what I'm saying? I just had to
get too. It's like people invest so much time and money in like hiring a good coach, getting their diet down, doing their cardio, eating their food, and then all of a sudden their presentation is shit on stage. And you're just like, you threw all that work out the window because your posing was not there.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time. Don't be the best looking one there and lose because you can't pose.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that
like being able to control and hold poses wins shows. I don't give a shit what anyone will say.
Yeah. I mean, unless you just I mean, so what I see you got the Tampa Pro lineup there.
What do y'all think about the front runners for this? Like at least men, we'll start with men's open, then we'll go to 212.
I mean,
let me see
this
if
this is a freaking stacked show.
Yeah.
Like, and you don't, here's the thing too, like, and I know that Jordan, like, I know I'm attached, like, in some ways to, like, Jordan because Tuttle works with Jordan, but I mean, like, I feel like he got overlooked in prejudging in Chicago.
100%.
Where he ended up finishing 9th in prejudging, and then all of a sudden at finals he finishes 4th, and he finishes 5th overall. Like, I feel like he's going to get a better look, and he's going to be in the top 3. I think from my point of view, I think he'll be top 3. I think De La Rosa has really nailed it down with Patrick Torre too.
I do too.
That dude just nails right now.
I would have John. I mean, granted, Mo Fuda just won a show, so like he's going in with some momentum. But John, to me, is so complete. He's so always so conditioned. It's hard to count him out in my opinion, in this lineup for not taking a shot at the win.
Yeah, let me tell you a name, a sleeper. Nobody. Eric Wood.
Eric Wood. Yeah.
Listen here, he did good at the Legion last year. He did good.
Louis Creed is on another level right now too.
Let me tell you, and I watched that motherfucker take that L to me and come back that next year at North America to win that whole fucking thing. Then his pro debut, if I'm not mistaken, I think was the Legion. He placed top 5.
That's nuts. Look at, I mean, like the conditioning and I think the best move that John did was move to Patrick Torre because his conditioning was good, but I feel like it's on another level. And like,
look, you see how his back pokes out like that? I need that.
That's nuts. Look at the detail.
Insane.
Yeah. And he has such a small waist too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, because it's like you say, like we're gonna have our predictions, but so many things happen the week
Oh,
of
yeah, you have to nail
2-3 days of the show. You know what I'm saying? And then when we see them on stage, how are they all gonna look when they're next to each other, right? Because it's like you said, Mo Food, he's got some momentum. Who else?
I mean, like, Doug, do you really? I mean, like, I like Mo's look. Don't get me wrong, and I know he won Chicago and everything like that. But it's just like, do you feel like they're gonna try and choose somebody else to try and get somebody else qualified for the?
I don't know, because I don't know how they're doing things now. Because back in the day, that was the goal, was to take people's qualifications and get a check. You know what I'm saying?
You figure that's why Mo's doing it, is because he's trying to.
Yeah, you take out everybody who
out of the equation. If they're out of the equation,
you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, when I start winning shows, I'm doing the same shit. If I plan on, so that's why I say, like, for me, once I'm placed in top 3 and I'm winning shows, and I set up to do 2 or 3 shows, I'm doing all of them, and I plan on winning all of them.
Pull up Nate Spear, because he just
Nate Spear. I seen him.
What he's done since Vancouver or Toronto is nuts.
Yeah,
like
these update pictures in the blue trunks looked crazy.
It's nuts, dude. He looks so much more, and I told him, I'm like, dude, you look so much more detailed in your lower. That's the best his back double by has ever looked.
Like,
boom. He's up since Vancouver. He's up almost 7 pounds.
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, that's the cool part about being in the open, man. Is who said it? I can't remember who said it. Oh shit! It just came off the tip of my tongue. One of them bodybuilding guys.
Look at that.
Said it. It's bodybuilding. Oh, John Jewett. It's bodybuilding. Once you find out the look, that's what you want to try to match on stage. Yeah, that's a nice shot.
That's a great shot.
That's a nice shot.
I mean, I think he can sneak into that top 6 easily.
I agree.
Without
I mean, 100%. I like when I see lineups like this. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you only, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, the Tampa Open lineup, there was only like 6 bodybuilders.
What about Lewis Breed? I've been hearing Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis Breed
looks like a freak right now.
Lewis Breed. I'm not familiar with Lewis.
I believe he's a European guy, right?
Yeah, United Kingdom.
Yeah,
I think he in that post he tagged him in that post. I think.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there you go. He's right there. I was hearing that he put on like 10 pounds of muscle.
Okay,
these shots are pretty.
Yeah, he looks like a.
Everybody's got the great lighting down in MI40.
Yeah. That's money.
Yeah, everybody's in MI40 with that perfect lighting.
Shit.
I know, right?
Yeah, I got some pictures right over there.
I think Phil Clayhar, I know Blue coaches him, and he's an older dude, but he's gonna come in nasty. I think Phil, might upset some fellas.
He always seems to. He really does.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy because
does he have a page, Phil?
Yeah. Nobody talks about him at all. He's almost. I think he's 50. I mean, he's old, but I mean, dude, dude, I've talked to him a couple times, and he's got mad respect for me. I know I won't be doing this at 50. So props to him, and I think he looks great.
He's got some.
Wonder if he has any updates.
He's keeping it under. No, he's even said it though, like, because he's on that Serious and Silliness podcast with John, and he just says he's like darking it. He just pretty much is pulling like a Dorian Yates. He doesn't post anything. He keeps it quiet.
I love that.
I mean, like, I didn't get a chance to look at what he looked like in Chicago, but I know he's gonna want revenge. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I never would count out Phil just because of like how freaky he is.
He looks like a big motherfucker.
He is. He's a big dude. He can put it together. I mean,
can you imagine looking like that at that age? That's crazy in itself.
I
know that's the goal.
Yeah, I will never do
I
that.
want to look like this as long as I can.
It's crazy.
When I'm done
Yeah, I think
bodybuilding, you
the
will
way
see
he
me
got
at
qualified
like 200
last year,
pounds.
he won Orlando. And Orlando they're not doing a pro show this year.
Yeah. Which is crazy, man, because I'm like, no, man, there's such a market for bodybuilding today that wasn't around years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like with social media. I mean, shoot.
I mean, I think you're looking at Mo. You're probably looking at Mo, John.
I'm looking at
You're
Mo,
looking at
Eric
Mo,
Wood,
John,
even that.
Lewis Freed.
So can you find that Yi Shan Chen from China? I'm trying to see if this is the guy I think it is, because if it is, he's gonna be in the top 5.
Okay.
Because that little fucking mass monster is always in the top 5.
Tim Budesheim too.
Tim is always in the mix.
Yeah,
And
I was thinking.
he's done 6 shows this year.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was thinking Tim.
See
and
what I
Phil
mean?
when I
Like,
first said it.
no knock on that, but that's a lot of fucking shows, man.
Well, it's just, dude, Doug, it's just he was talking on the Canadian Beef podcast today, and it's just sponsors. The sponsors pay for it. He's from Germany.
Yeah.
They are legit paying for him to be over here and compete in shows.
Three's my max, and the only way I would do more than 3 is if I win the 3rd show, punch my ticket to the Olympia, and I do the Olympia.
But he said he misses being home and in Germany and training.
Yeah,
in his
this
own
motherfucker right here. This motherfucker.
That's pretty crazy.
He's got, man, he looks good.
He's short as fuck too. He's short as hell.
Hey.
Yes.
Look at all that muscle on that frame.
Yeah.
Did he go top 10 at Chicago?
Yeah. I think so.
If he pulls that water, it looks like he's holding a little water. But I mean, like, if he pulls that off, he's gonna be dangerous. He'll be dangerous too.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun to watch. So is everything on Saturday or Sunday?
Looks like the amateurs are on Sunday and the pros are on Saturday.
Okay.
Here we go. 212. 212.
Yeah, and I seen the 212. I seen Jordan Joanowitz jumped in. I'm like, ooh shit. You understand?
Jordan Janowitz, that's my guy. He looks crazy.
Yeah, but see, and I'm pissed because I wanted to fucking do this shit. But I'm not gonna keep placing top 5, dog. I gotta get in that top 3. But them is the caliber bodybuilders I want to go against. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you want to be able to win a show against
like
quality,
so
not
even
like
when
sneak in.
Even in the Atlanta, doing it with Kareth and Bo, and I think the other guy's name was Francis David Henry. Like, yeah, I bring it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's put together, man.
Woo.
And he looks conditioned. Damn. He looks very conditioned.
Yeah, he is.
He won his pro card in 2021 at Nationals. I did.
He year after me.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Who's his coach?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
That's fucking spot on.
And he lives down in Texas and trains where Ronnie trained.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, so you know he's got that.
Man, bro, I trained in that gym. That's a hot ass.
Yeah, he's got because that's about 50% of the time that's where Branch Warren trains.
Yeah, that's a hot ass fucking gym.
Yeah, you're talking like
he looked like that at 216.
Yeah, Jordan trains hard as hell too.
Yeah,
I mean he is definitely a throwback to like the gym he trains at.
Yeah.
Mike, see if you can play that video right there. Go up. That one to the far left. No, to your left. No, that one. That one's a video. See if you click on that one.
Yeah, that was when he did the Texas last year.
Yeah, look at that shit. Damn. I mean, that's
and he's not only grainy, he's pretty. Like in my opinion.
Yeah, he has a great physique.
Yeah, he got a small waist.
He flows
he's
well.
Got small waist, big round muscles, and he has that grain.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a tough one to beat.
Yeah, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
you probably have to say he's a favorite.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think last year to Texas he took second or third. So he's definitely
he got second.
So he's never qualified for the O before?
Because he's like me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I love bodybuilders like that. It's like because the top three the only ones that get money as when you compete as a pro.
Yeah.
So depending on and everybody's sponsorships is set up different. Some people don't even have sponsors. When I was talking to Kira, he don't even got a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, not everybody's sponsors pays for them to do shows. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, as a pro, you don't even have to pay to do the show. You just pay for your pro card every year. You could do as many shows as you want. But plane tickets, Airbnb and or hotel, you know what I'm saying? Food, if you don't have sponsors or anybody helping you with that, that's all on you. So if you're catching flights and booking hotels and you're placing fifth or you're placing second call outs, what we doing? What the fuck are we doing? We're not, you know what I mean? But if I'm placing top three, all right, third, let me see. Let's check the temperature on the next one. I might win it. Or if I still place in the top three, all right, cool. If I don't win, I go right back to the drawing board. I don't know how somebody can do 6 shows in a year, man.
I mean, like I said, I think like from my understanding, it seemed like they were coughing up the dough for him to do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, he said like he's a mechanical engineer in Germany and he just misses his job. He misses being home. So I mean, like, I think he's done. He's been staying in Tampa because he's actually been training at MI40. So I mean, I think he's going to be – I think this is his last show. From everything that I gathered today.
Yeah, I would need a hard break. I literally just made a post today about the health phase and the rebound phase, how important it is. Important. And I remember when I was, when I first started competing in bodybuilding, you just don't understand how to reverse diet, how to not drink so much liquids, because if you manipulate your liquids, your water, you know what I'm saying, like getting back into the flow of training, not binge eating, you know what I'm saying, like so many things.
Dude, that's like Mike, like I'm seeing some of the guys that were in our class, in that 35 class, man, and I'm seeing that they're like 30 pounds up right now, and I'm like, what fuck are you doing to yourself? Like, and I mean, like,
it's hard.
It's different.
It is hard.
It's complete. It is. It's very difficult.
Face, Mike,
I ain't gonna fucking lie. It's definitely difficult. But when you have a good coach or you have good eyes that are over you, that are overseeing you too, like they're not gonna let you get to that point. They're gonna pull you back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's funny because this is one of
seeing some of these guys that just like you see it's body fat that they put on, and it's just like, what the hell is going on?
It's funny because some of the questions that I got this week, one of them was like the importance of a rebound, and like that's what we're going into anyways. Like Trey, like have you had some like rebounds that are memorable to you, like whether that be positive, like or negative? I guess we could go negative with it.
Yeah, we could talk about it all.
I think the older I got, the more mature I got with my dieting. I think, my first shows, I basically starved at my first shows, dude. So, like, when the show's over, I'm pigging out on anything and everything. Like, spending $45, $60 at IHOP and eating it all, probably put on way too much weight, the first few shows. But honestly, man, I was, like I said, I think I said it in the last podcast, I was like 237 at USA's in 2022. And when I got with Blue, man, we did a rebound and I was like 290, like probably up 50 pounds and pretty lean composition, So I'm not against like pushing food hard as long as your body is staying lean, Now
I gotta ask when you guys do a rebound like that, or that one in specifically, because they might all be different. I've done it two ways now for successful rebounds for me. I've done one where directly after competition, I pretty much cut out all steroids except for like a test baseline, maybe a TRT.
Mhm.
And then I allow the food to rebound me
Mhm.
to a certain point before and health markers are good, and then I add compounds back in. I've also done the other way where I keep like test high, GH super high after, and move the food up really quick.
Yeah.
What type of approach do you and Blue take with it?
So at USA's, we cut all gear in half. So basically, I mean, I can't really remember like roundabouts. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just taking no trim, like that's automatically gone. All the
Yeah.
oils are gone.
Yeah.
Basically, if all health markers are good and it wasn't a prep where I had to like suffer like hard, usually it's like a 400 test a week, maybe 200 mass, 200 primo, and really just bumping food in GH at that point, really keeping GH the same, and just letting your food do the work. And man, he pushes food pretty freaking hard after the show, and I mean, I can handle it. I don't ever get like crazy fat. Like right now, I'm not crazy fat, and I'm pushing food crazy hard right now. But I think it's like client dependent, obviously. But I like that approach. I like, as long as health markers are good and everything's solid, just kind of hacking the gear and pushing for another 8 weeks. Kind of letting your body get that food back in it. I like that approach.
How high are you taking? Like how big of calorie jumps are you taking weekly?
Oh,
and how quick are you getting?
So usually I'll say probably food, at least carb wise, is doubled immediately. I mean,
Okay.
I was probably, maybe not doubled. I was eating, I think 300 carbs at the end of this last prep. And I think we jumped pretty high, like probably about double. We were probably right at 550 to 600 right off the get.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Chris did the
that's
same
right
thing.
out the gate.
Right out the gate, we were at like, I think 130 grams of carbs even on our high day, like going into like the last week of prep, like the last week before the show.
Yeah.
And right out of the gate, he put us at 475 for carbs. Like he just went 0 to 100, but we also like played we're playing the safe game, and that's what Chris likes to do, is clean things up, like drop it down to 300, pretty much like, like that small like dosage of cruise phase, 2 IUs of GH, that's it, and then just pretty much clean up, wait to do blood work, at least 6 weeks till after the show, and then after we get the blood work back and it comes back clean, then we make a push.
So 300 milligrams of test a week, that's your cruise?
That's it right now.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
The funny part is like after I come off a show and he bumps the food up and like all the gear gets thrown out, for some odd reason, I feel 10 times better and my lifts are like through the fucking roof.
100%.
AIs are out, all the bullshit's out, and my strength just goes through the goddamn roof. And like me and Chris have had those discussions where like he goes, some people will lift like shit and not have any strength, and then some people being on that minimal dosage and the food being high like that blast right out of the gate. And I'm
the majority of my PRs I've ever hit, whether that's 1 rep maxes, 3 rep maxes, or set maxes, the majority of them have been on cruise doses.
Ooh,
yep.
Yeah.
I take it a lot easier.
I mean, I think that a lot of people don't really understand too when it comes in regards to gear, is the least you use, the better. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You want to get the most out of the least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
I 100% agree with that.
A lot of people don't really understand that concept, and I always equate it to like any drug, weed, cocaine, alcohol, anything you do a lot of, too much of, your body needs more of to get a stimulus from it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So, when I get done with a show, I come off everything. You know what I'm saying?
So nothing at all.
I'll stay on level TRT based doses.
What is your TRT?
Shit. I'll do what 0.7 twice a week.
Okay. See, I'm doing like 0.2, 0.3 twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
my TRT is about 150 milligrams.
Yeah, I go 125 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The blue's always been like real low with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I know, being around a lot of other guys, like, and I don't knock anybody's like, however they do things. I know some guys like to keep a certain look year round. As long as but I say to people, bodybuilding is very unhealthy, but we try to do it as healthy as we can.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? Like even as a natural bodybuilder, right? It's still not healthy because having low body fat is not healthy for the body. That's how your body is where your energy comes from.
Yeah,
you know
you just stole the words right out of my mouth because like I just actually had this conversation with a first time competitor and I'm like, he's just like, yeah, but this isn't healthy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you need to understand something. Like you wanted to compete. I'm like, you have to understand that like bodybuilding is not the healthiest sport, especially when he's a natural kid too. And especially when you're in the last 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to feel like shit. Your food's going to be super low. The cardio is going to be high. Like you're a natural athlete. Like, that's just like some of the road that you're going to have to go down. You're going to have to go down that suffering road. And it's not the healthiest. It's just not healthy in general.
And it's
like,
not for everybody.
Regardless if you're on PEDs or not. Like if you can't accept that being in the prep, you should not be bodybuilding in general.
100%. 100%. Another question. This was an interesting one I got. It's actually from Sean at Sub Talk Radio. Who was the first pro bodybuilder each of y'all met?
I met there was a local show.
I think it was Jose.
Who was it, Trey?
Oh shoot, my bad. I think my thing was messing up. I met Brandon Curry at a he was at a local show in Gadsden, Alabama, dude. It was crazy. And like I walked by and I can't remember his nickname. What was his nickname, like the Prodigy or something? I know
the Prodigy.
Wasn't that Brandon's at one time?
Yeah,
dude. I walked by and I told my buddy, like we walked by him, dude, biggest dude I ever seen in my life. And but I was like 18, 19 years old. I was like, dude, I think that's the Prodigy. And he's like, for real? And I was like, dude, that's the biggest dude I ever seen in my life. And it was pretty cool to see in person, man. Pretty wild. That was the first one I ever seen.
And you said, Brendan, you said it was Jose for you?
Yeah, it was Jose.
Yeah, for me it was Branch Moore in 2015.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I got to meet Branch. It was cool because I got a picture of him when I'm first.
Was he still competing in 15 too? Yeah, he was.
Yeah. And and then I ended up getting to meet him again after I turned pro. He was at Powerhouse Gym one time promoting his beef jerky, and I was able to get another picture with him. And that was kind of one of those good sentimental moments, you know what I'm saying? Like having those dreams and aspirations as an amateur, so I was a big fan of Branch because my dad took me to go watch Generation Iron. So he was all in the movie, you know what I'm saying? And just getting to learn the culture of bodybuilding, I was just a huge fan. So it was dope to meet him and then be able to conversate with him as a pro, him know my name and shit, you know what I'm saying? She fucking threw me. Yeah, fuck yeah.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Be like, how the fuck you know me? You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, you think bodybuilding and you think like intensity wise, and I think Branch is the top dog in the industry. Like, and always
he's my favorite bodybuilder ever. Ever. And that's not because of physique. That's because of who he is as a person.
Yeah, because he's one of those people that'll tell you he had to work to get to where he was at. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool having a conversation with him because most people don't realize too, bodybuilding isn't as big as it is now as it was back before social media and all that stuff in regards to competitions.
Yeah, like
back when Branch was competing, there would be 60 to 70 bodybuilders showing up at the Nationals. You know what I'm saying? Could you imagine going to a nationals and there's 60 motherfuckers in your class, bro?
Yeah,
60?
it's crazy.
Like, how the
Crazy.
fuck, and then back then too, they didn't do the 1-place, 2-place pro card.
No, it was just like the overall one.
Yeah.
Because I think
they wasn't handing out pro cards.
Ron Paulo was talking about it on his podcast, and he's like, dude, I had to do 12 national shows. And he goes, the only way I won it is because I guess like a promoter called or somebody, he did so many Canadian national shows that the U.S. IFBB called them and said, we know how good you are, and you just missed out on the overall, and we want to offer you a pro card. He did 12 national shows. I think he finished second 8 times.
Yes.
It was
That's
something.
a lot.
I just had
tell
to
people-
pull up at my house. I gotta clock out. So
You out of here?
I'll holler at y'all.
All right,
Okay?
Trey.
Oh, yep.
All right. See y'all.
See you, Trey.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting having these conversations with Branch and stuff about, the early days and stuff too, because I was a real big fan of Edgar Fletcher too. He was a really good bodybuilder in the 90s. He's from the Pittsburgh area. And a good friend of mine is his uncle. He lives in Germany now. You know what I mean? And when I, got into bodybuilding, was thinking about pursuing it and stuff like that, I was able to have a few conversations with him. And you know what I'm saying? It's it's not easy. I'll never say what we do is easy, but I think the largest class I went against was at North Americans, where I think it was 30 in the open. And then in my master's class, I think it was 20 in my open class. And that was the first time I seen more than 9 people in a class.
And I feel like that's how it should be. But I feel like nationals in December and I feel like North Americans are those only shows where you're actually hitting double digits and close to 20
For sure.
in an open class.
And then
When I did North Americans in 2019, I think there was it had 30 something guys in our class. And then
How many was there at national? Yeah,
nationals in 2021, there must have been well over 30 guys in heavyweights as well.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And it's easy to get lost in the sauce at a national. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
If you don't got one of them physiques that's going to pop out, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I always explain to people, man, nationals are tricky. You know what I'm saying? Because, that's possibly most people's first time going up against more than 4, 5, 6 people in a class. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go out there and you got to impress the judges. And, and that's why I say, I'll never say what we do is easy, because it takes the average person, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 5 to 7 years to earn their pro card. That's the average person. Because most people see the one-hit wonders and they think it's like that for everybody. Yeah. And I'm like, no, it's not like that for everybody, man. Sometimes it happens, with me. You know what I'm saying? I was fortunate enough to win my pro card my first national, right? But it ain't like that for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I like people to understand, go into this with the expectation of winning, but also go into it with the understanding that now you're going up against the best amateurs in the country.
Doug, so many people are friggin' out of their mind and unrealistic about goals. And me and Mike shared this one dude that Mike's like, oh, what are your goals? And he's like, oh man, and Mike's laughing because he knows exactly the guy I'm talking about. I'm not even I don't even know the dude's name or anything like that, but he's like, he couldn't even make his weight class for a particular category because he was carrying too much body fat. And that was the bottom line. And when you call people out like that, they don't like it, especially being in that situation. But the fact is that he wanted to be an amateur bodybuilder, win an overall, then go to nationals, win his pro card, and then go to a pro show and win a pro show and be on the Olympia stage all within a year. It's bro,
within a year,
don't work that way.
No, Derek Lunsford is the only one I've seen do it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anybody
You're talking
else
about
do it.
a one in a generational freak.
Yeah, people forget Most people forget this. The year I won my pro card with Nick Walker, he lost the year before to Zach Merkle in 2019 at USA.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell Nick wasn't going to win in 2019. Like, I thought Nick was going to win in 2019.
Yeah, what did he get on his
Everybody thought he was going to win.
I thought he was going to win.
slotted to win.
I was a huge fan of him, but guess who went out there and beat him? My coach and Zach Merkle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bodybuilding is just one of those sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some people make it look easy, so everybody thinks it's easy, and everybody wants those fairy tale, like, oh, I'm gonna win my show, I'm gonna win the overall, then I'm gonna go to nationals, I'm gonna get my pro card, then when I turn pro, I'm gonna win my pro debut. And I'm like, whoo, buddy, them is some lofty goals. You know what I'm saying? But I don't never want to discourage anybody, but there, like you said, there's a lot of delusional motherfuckers out here. They just don't understand that it takes time for you to perfect your craft, and then just continuing to be a sponge and continuing to learn, whether you're an amateur or a pro. You know what I'm saying? Because I also say this too, genetics help get people to turn pro, but once you turn pro, everybody got genetics now. So now what you bring to the table. Everybody.
Now it's about work ethic. And how much you're gonna
now it's about detail. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I got the feedback from my show, I'm like, damn, I never thought about a shoulder-waist ratio. That's some new shit. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but that's a fact, man. It is a fact. People ignore it. Too many people.
So you guys are going, let's say you're going into a competition. You compete tomorrow morning. It's going to be Saturday morning tomorrow. You're doing your night thing on Friday. You're getting ready. What I really like this question. What are your top 5 essentials? And this can be anything. It can be gear if you want it to be. It could be clothing. What are your top 5 essentials when you head to a competition? Like, what do you got to have with you? I'm gonna go first because I've been thinking about this.
All right,
yeah, good.
I bring a pillow. Pillow is essential. I'm telling people, pillow is essential backstage.
Yeah.
Headphones, because I put my Japanese meditation music on. That's
a good one, because I would say the night before your show, you're sleepless, and I literally had to put on I went on Spotify and had to put on meditation music in order for me to fall asleep, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I turning into?
Yeah,
It put me to sleep within 3 minutes.
For sure.
No joke. So I would agree with the headphones.
Salt. I'm going to throw salt. Salt.
Yep. Pink Himalayan salt.
Have salt. Pink Himalayan salt.
Yep.
A big t-shirt, because I'm trying to be the last one to strip down always. And
we even did that at Universe. We were the last ones. We were the only ones that me and Mike, Doug, me and Mike are just chilling in the room. Everyone's lined up in the cold. I'm like, they're all done. We saw this one dude literally doing a full workout right in front of us. He's pumping for a half an hour. Me and Mike were like, well, there goes all that glycogen.
I like to be the last one.
So much goddamn water.
I like to be the last one backstage to take my shit off.
Yep. Last one.
Yep. And then
I want to stay warm. I don't want to show it off.
Yep. That's exactly how I am.
Yeah. And let's see. What's the 5th thing? 5th thing I always need.
Pillow, headphones, pink Himalayan salt.
Yep. Pillow, headphones, pink Himalayan salt.
Big shirt.
And let's finish it out with
what about bands?
Bands. Yeah, I got to bring a band.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the essentials for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go with probably 90% of that right there. I think that those are just clutch things to have at all times.
Yeah.
Doug, what do you think?
Extra trunks.
For me, I always forget to take a pillow, so I'm gonna make sure I remember that, because that is very true. Pillow is very.
The extra trunks is a good one though.
For me, I like a big jumpsuit.
Okay.
Like a big jumpsuit so that, don't mess up my tan. It keeps me warm, and then it makes me look smaller than I think I am.
Yep.
And then everybody's trying to size me up, and they can't. So I take my shit off.
The bigger the shit you're wearing, the smaller you look, and then all
Because
of a
people
sudden
do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I do it.
we do. We do it
I
all
do
the
it.
time.
I'm looking at you. If you taking all your shit off, I'm looking at you like
I'm looking at glutes.
100%.
I'm looking at no Diddy. I'm looking at glutes and hamstrings.
Facts.
I'm like, if that shit ain't striated and I can't see it.
Yeah, facts. I'm looking like I ain't worried about him. Nah, okay. Yeah, him right there. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
And then I lock in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I definitely need my music, and sometimes I like to listen to some, high tempo hip hop, but most of the time I'm listening to something like slow melodic, like my whatever I'm gonna pose to on stage. Definitely my cooler with my rice cakes and my pink Himalayan salt, some peanut butter.
Yep.
Those are definitely essentials. Beef jerky. Sometimes I'll have a muffin too in my cooler. Definitely got to have my Crocs.
Oh,
my Crocs.
I've been meaning to get a pair of Crocs.
Let me tell you, brother, feet comfortability is essential for me right now. Like, I've been hanging around my coach a long time, bro.
Crocs, bro.
Listen, let me tell you, bro, having my feet out and being able to spread. My feet don't like shoes anymore.
Yeah, I got wide feet.
And if I buy a bigger size, then I look like I got elf shoes on. You know what I'm saying? So I got to stick to my 8s. So I keep my Crocs with me. So if I ain't going nowhere, I got my Crocs on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm going somewhere, I got an extra pair of shoes in my truck. I'll swap out my Crocs real quick because then I'm not going to have my shoes on that long. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like to wear socks.
I got to ask them. Neither of you work out in Crocs, correct?
Oh, no, I work out in them.
I do not.
Oh, you do, Doug?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Damn. Like Guy Sister Nino over here.
Hell yeah, man. Listen, when I started, I used to think that shit was weird. Especially, I used to think people that worked out in their socks, I thought that was weird until I started that.
Socks, Crocs, and broccoli hair. I'm just
and for years, I would get cramps. I used to wear boxing shoes when I trained, especially when I deadlift. And I would always get cramps in my feet. And I never knew why I would get, like, I would be in mid deadlift and my foot would fucking lock up. That shit hurt. You know what I'm saying? Then once I stopped, I took my shoes off one day. My coach was like, just take your shoes off and let your feet feel the ground. And then I started deadlifting in my socks. And I'm like, oh, this shit is way more comfortable because I could feel my foot.
Yes, sir.
I have more stability. I can feel like my foot can grab the ground. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like either Crocs or socks. If I'm wearing shoes, it's because I'm in a video, somebody's recording me, and it's for some content purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm just like regular training, using my phone or something like that, I really don't care what I look like and what I'm wearing. Only time I care about what I'm wearing is if I'm going to Pump Town for Action Sledge, or if somebody's recording me for like, some dope content. Other than that, man, I am.
Yeah, Mike, you are doing those squats and barefoot, like just.
Yes, sir. I'm a socks guy. I'm a leg day socks guy.
You were squatting those socks, right?
In the work off what Doug said, the majority of my gym clothes, like if I'm shooting a video, I'll be wearing something, but most of my fits at the gym are bought at Walmart. My sweatpants, my t-shirts, all that. Like Walmart should throw me a sponsorship. What they should do.
That would be nice.
You feel like you're gonna tear that shit up anyway and get it smelly and all that.
Exactly.
What's the point in spending a shit ton of money on it? You know what I mean? Like I'm guilty. I can't say that. I have the gas shit. You know, I got.
Ain't nothing wrong with it because I got some gas. I got some gas stuff. I got some bodybuilding stuff.
So I mean, like, I'm definitely guilty, and I feel like probably we're all guilty. Like, when we're on prep too, we spend the most fucking money on the dumbest shit.
Bro.
And I'm like, did I just buy fucking 10 shirts? Like, what the fuck did I do in like an hour?
Y'all should see my Amazon orders from the last 2 months. It's out of control.
I'm like,
dude,
it's nuts.
Bro, like all prep, I was good. Usually I get on these like, I need to spend money for that quick thrill. I need that quick hit. And so I buy stuff. But this prep, I was good. But 2 weeks out,
same thing, bro. 2 weeks out, I'm like spending. Yep, spending streak. I'm like, bam, bam, bam.
Air Maxes ordered, dress shoes ordered, like slacks ordered.
Yeah,
like
Amazon is dangerous.
And Amazon's so easy. You just press
so I say it's dangerous. Amazon is. I oftentimes buying shit because I'm like, let me see if Amazon got shit. Amazon got it. It's $17 card.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's
next thing you know, you got fucking $300 and shit in your cart. You're like, God damn, how the fuck I got $300 in my cart?
Yeah. And boom, you press it and it's at your door.
Yeah. Amazon is dangerous.
It is dangerous. This is a good question. It says, how did you all meet your ladies?
So my wife was my high school sweetheart.
Oh, that's crazy.
But we met in middle school. We met in middle school. So I was in 8th or 9th grade? 8th grade. I was in 8th grade.
Damn.
And
did you know
I had a cousin that lived on her side of town. My cousin played a trick on me and hooked me up with the ugly girl. So when I go visit him, I say, man, why didn't you hook me up with her? He was like, Kayla. I'm like, yeah. So I got her number. We was just always friends until after high school. And then we had my son in 2006. We got married 9 years ago. Next year will be 10 years.
Damn,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so I met her in middle school through a family, through one of my family.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, me and Charlotte, we met through the gym. So at like the commercial gym, Best Fitness in Nashua, we met there. And at the time, like she was like spotty in and out of like a relationship at the time. And like, I was like, I kind of want nothing to do with this at first. I'm like, handle it, like get out of the relationship. I'm not going to get involved in any of that. And it worked. Like she realized what she was in was toxic, and it ended up blooming into a like a friendship, at first. And we just started lifting with each other and just hanging out and talking. And then one thing led to another. And then, 6 months down the road, like I ended up proposing to her. So, I mean, like I knew the first month, like right out of the gate, I'm like, I want to marry this girl. I even told my mom, and my mom was like, it was a freaking, like, I ain't even going to bullshit, because it was like, my entire life was like a revolving door of just like women. And it was just like, it was bad. Oh, it looks like we lost Doug.
Yep.
But he was just like a revolving door. I'm not even going to bullshit. And it was like a revolving door, and he was just bad. And like, I feel like at the least, like at that point in time, like I didn't expect to find Charlotte. Like Charlotte literally fell into my lap because like I felt like the relationship I had just got out of, like I had a 2-year-old daughter. I'm like, how many people are going to want to date me at this point? And then I ended up meeting her at the gym. I ended up friend requesting her on Facebook. We became friends. We ended up having a couple of lifts. Like I said, 6 months later, we're engaged. 2 years after, like the next year, like we're married. And, we've been together almost 6 years now. It'll be 6 years at the end of this year. And it's just like, it just made sense. Everything that like you could possibly want in a spouse is matched up with me and her, because she bodybuilds, she understands it, she gets it, like, and having somebody like that makes everything so easy. And I mean, like, it just works. It works out so great in my eyes. I mean, How did you and Shane meet?
Yeah, it's very similar. Like we met at the gym, and at first it was just training because she was already into bodybuilding. This bodybuilding didn't come around because of me. She was already into that, and me and my buddy Keith, who was my training partner consistently at the time, she started training with us. And at the time, I was at the end of my marriage, and that marriage was
I have no
it was a
idea.
good yeah, it was a good thing to move on from. Great girl. I'm sure making somebody very, very happy. She's awesome. But we just, when you're young, sometimes you get into relationships because of, physical attraction, or you both are into the same thing, and you don't take that time to make those deeper connections. And then over time you find out how important those deeper connections are. So that marriage just didn't really have that, and we ended up going our separate ways. And me and Shay started talking, and I wasn't happy where I was living, so I moved down to the same area that she was in, and the rest is kind of history. We kicked it off, and when you find somebody that you not just jive with, but make those deeper connections, you can have those conversations, you can be vulnerable with those type of things, right? Like, it makes life so much different and better. And I know we relate everything back to bodybuilding, right? But when you have somebody that works synergistically with you, all of a sudden you become a better bodybuilder as well.
Yeah. Especially, like having people, like our women, it just like that supports what we do is such a big factor in our lives. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can easily make things difficult, and they don't. Like, they support it. They make it easier for us. They understand. They're there, for us to talk to.
I couldn't get through prep without her. I'm gonna say that right now. Like,
I won't even lie. Like, the last 6 to 8 weeks, I started turning into a basket case, and Charlotte's like, "You gotta snap out of this shit." Like, you're starting to sound like me when I'm in prep, and I'm just like,
yeah. No, it's very important. Like, I mean, just because you're right, we get a little, like, I don't mean crazy, like we're psychopaths, but like you don't think
emotional, man. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You're super emotional. You're on drugs. Like, it is what it is. Like, this is the factor. This is why we started this podcast, to tell truth. To talk the truth. You know what I mean? Because when you're on certain PDs, like, you get that vulnerability. You get that relentlessness. Like you have that self-doubt. All that shit is transpiring, and that's why it's important that you have a good spouse to have your back, because they understand the emotional roller coaster that you're going through, because we've seen them go through that same emotional roller coaster, especially if they compete.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see.
Having a good support system helps for sure.
Hell yeah, dude.
In this sport.
100%.
Okay. We kind of talked about that one. Let's see. Okay, that's a good question. What makes a pro bodybuilder besides obtaining a pro card?
You two can answer this one.
Well, I would just say, what makes a pro anything, right? So, in this book I read, if you've never read it before, and any of you listeners out there, I really recommend it. Like, if I was a head of a school board, this book would be a part of the school curriculum. Like, kids would have to read this book called Relentless by Tim Grover. And he talks about there's 3 tiers of people. You got coolers, you got cleaners, you got closers, right? So you got people that just make it to the NBA and they're copacetic. They made it. They're good at telling people I made it. Then you got the second tier people. So you're first the coolers and the cleaners. Those are your good players, but maybe your journeymen. You know what I'm saying? don't have a decent career. But then you got cleaners, Mike, Cody, Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? So Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tom Brady.
when I hear like a professional boxer say, I've never drank alcohol, I've never smoked weed. Yeah, I'm gonna go out to the club and then I'm gonna jog home at 2 a.m. I'm gonna jog 5 miles home. Like your mindset is just much, much more different than everybody else.
Yeah.
You're gonna do the things that don't nobody else want to do. You know what I'm saying? So as a pro, what makes you a pro is your daily habits. You know what I'm saying? Dexter Jackson was one of those guys that said, like, while he competed, that was one of the reasons why he liked to stay within 15% of his body fat. Because now as a professional, you got to be on top of your game. Not everybody could be a lead priest. You know what I'm saying? Because, he would eat whatever the fuck and just be fucking.
He still does. That's the crazy part. But
yeah, and
the determining factor is that like he'll still do like 2 hours worth of cardio a day to burn it off.
Mm-hmm.
So that just shows you exactly what you're talking about, Doug, in that mindset.
Yeah. He's like, fuck it, I'll do 2 hours of cardio. Everybody ain't doing that shit.
That's what I'm saying. They'll eat the food. They're like, fuck it, I'm retired. I'll eat the food. I'll get fat. He's like, I want to eat the food, but I'm going to neutralize the situation so I still look good. So my ass is going to do 2 hours worth of cardio.
Yeah.
I feel like Hunter, what he branded, right? Like is the what I would say is like the ideal quote, like win the day.
Yeah. Victory.
Everything within your day has to be a win, right? You get through your first meal, that's a W. You get through your second meal, that's a W. You get to your third meal, you're not as hungry, but you get through it. That's a W. You get through a perfect set, that's a W. You get through another perfect set, that's a W. So you're just racking up perfection, right? In everything feels like a set. It's just like you're in the now, do that to perfection. Then we come to the next piece of the day. You're in the now, you do that with perfection. And then once you get to the end of the day and you go to sleep, all right, you've won that day. Now do it again.
Yeah, it's just like win the day and like be 1% better every day. If you can be 1% better every day, that shit adds up over time.
For sure.
Brick by brick, you will be better.
Like if you put a penny in a water jar every day, right? You do it every day. At some point, that jar gonna fill up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that one penny becomes thousands of fucking pennies.
I tell clients a lot, like when I train them, because I like to do like one-on-one stuff with guys sometimes just to correct form, to see intensity. They'll be like, all right, so how many reps are we doing in this set? And I'll usually have a rep scheme of some kind. But a lot of the times once they get into a set, they're like, all right, how many? I'm like, don't worry about that. You worry about this rep. Do this rep perfectly. I want perfect execution. And then they do the rep, right? And then it's
now they're focused
it's not 9 more reps. It's not 9 more reps. It's just do the next one exactly like that.
Exactly, because it takes your focus away from now I'm counting reps versus now my focal point is what am I doing inside that rep?
Exactly.
That is, I think that's a great way to freaking start working with somebody, even in the beginning or whatever the case may be, even if you're like, you've been with them for years and they need corrections, like working with them and being like, focus on this one rep. Don't focus on how many we're doing.
Yeah. Because you could do 20 reps and 12 of them were shitty.
Exactly.
You just did 12 shitty reps.
Execute every one as if you were executing the first one.
In my mind, that transfers to win the day, right? Like it's the same thing. It's the same mindset. Don't worry about meal 6. Focus on nailing meal 3 right now. Like that's all that matters right now. Is whatever you're in right now. That's all that matters. Do it to 100%.
Exactly.
And you keep stringing those together. I don't care who you are. You're going to improve. I don't care
Yeah,
who you are. I don't care how bad your genetics are. You are perfect every day and strive to be 1% better. You're going to turn into a fucking beast.
that's why I say, man, when it's in regards to bodybuilding, it's something you gotta like doing. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it looks fun, like it looks cool. I tell people abs are overrated. Everybody want abs. I be like, okay, you ain't willing to do what it take to get them. First of all, then when you got them, how long can you keep them?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then understanding too, like your abs are a muscle. You still got to train them. You know what I'm saying? Um, that helps balance out your physique. You know, um, you gotta love doing this shit because when you
Yeah.
go into the gym, you're not gonna feel like doing everything all the time.
If
You're
this
going,
isn't like the way I look at it is if you don't love what you do and you're not doing it for like I feel like people do it for a specific reason. Like, oh, let's get that pro card. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like the gym to me is like I love bodybuilding. Don't get me wrong, but the gym
hmm
is definitely my outlet. Like
hmm
I feel like I can let everything out, at the gym. But in the same sense, I can turn it into something. And if I can turn it into something, then you're killing two birds with one stone. Like I feel like then you're on a right path. But if I feel like the path you're on is you're going into this to be famous or Instagram famous or
or
get a pro
rich.
card, you're doing it for the wrong freaking reasons.
Yeah,
And you
because
won't last.
I love what
yeah,
you're doing.
I tell people you ain't gonna get rich in bodybuilding unless
I
you
love. I don't give a shit. Like I
unless
love
you
training, and
see
it's just like
bum or you're able to create like some kind of company or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
If
you can make a decent living. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to compare yourself to other people. But I get what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and then those things happen as a byproduct of you just loving what you do. You ain't
for
doing
sure.
it for money.
That's what I was gonna say. I think if tomorrow the IFBB shut down and there were no more shows again, I think we would all be in the gym tomorrow as
Oh
well.
yeah,
I don't
facts.
give a shit.
yeah,
Exactly.
The fact
yeah.
is like I think all three of us are at the age where we didn't have like Instagram or like Facebook or any like the social outlets like Snapchat and like
hmm
the TikTok. We didn't have any of that shit when we were growing up. Like we trained because we loved to train. We
hmm
didn't
Yeah.
do it because like, oh yeah, I'm going to get 100,000 followers or a million followers, and I'm going to turn this into a business. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, if you want social media to help your business, yeah, you have to do it. You don't have a choice, and I understand that part. You know what I mean? But like, if you're not, like I said, if you're not doing what you love, and I feel like the three of us love what we do
hmm
because we didn't have those outlets growing up, man. We grind it out. We love what we do, and that's why we do it.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Last question of the night. I think this one's pretty good. What what and when was your first win in bodybuilding? And how did you celebrate that night?
hmm So
Doug, you want to go first?
yeah, I think I told you this a little bit. But my first win, I won the 2018 NPC Elite Classic. It was in Homestead here in Pittsburgh. That was the first time I had a coach who's still my coach to this day. Shout out to Morgan Rice. And I was gonna do my third show with no coach, but I was working with another guy and we had like a communication issue. You know what I'm saying? This was when 2018 was the year I decided I wanted to pursue bodybuilding. So, that was when I started using gear. So I was gonna wind up doing that show with no coach, swinging the shit. So my boy Huddy was like, I know somebody you could talk to. It's like 5 weeks out. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I got trust issues. So I just was like, man, I don't know. Then with the other coach, I texted him, told him like emergency, like I need you to respond back. I had an issue and I didn't know what the fuck it was. But it was water retention in my chest. I had seen like a water pocket. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So my other homie ended up telling me what I needed to do. Then that wasn't an issue, but I didn't like that it took him 2 days to text me back. So I was like, yeah, he's burnt. And then now I'm like, now I don't really trust nobody like that now. You know what I'm saying? So when I met Morgan, I went to go pose for him. He posed first. And he says, I got some good news and bad news. I'm like, well, what's the bad news? He says,
Oh yeah,
we're doing the same show. And I was like, fuck. Because I'd heard all the horror stories of letting people coach you, still compete. Then he follows up with, but you're probably going to beat me. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking he's trying to swindle me for my bread.
yeah.
So, but then he starts talking to me in bodybuilding terms. Him, his boy Ken, and this other boy named Kevin. They were like, man, your lat insertions, you got good density. And you know what I'm saying? I think I was like 33 at the time. And he was like, yeah, man, I can help you. He was like, but you got to keep it 100 with me on the diet or I can't help you. And I remember almost being hard-headed at the beginning just because like my trust issues, you know what I'm saying? I remember when he sent me my food, that was when I was like, oh, he's trying to sabotage me, right? Because it was way more food than what I was eating at the time. So I'm like, this shit gonna make me fat. I'm not gonna make weight. I remember I called him. I was like, bro, I can't eat all this food. He was like, you gotta eat the food, Doug. So I'm like, all right, man, I done paid this motherfucker. So I did it. And everything that he said happened, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then, so I won the 2018 NPC Elite. That was my first. And I had never won anything like that before. You know what I'm saying? And so the high I was on was like incredible.
Oh yeah.
That was my third time competing.
Yeah.
My third time getting on a bodybuilding stage. So I still wasn't good at posing at all. Horrendous. I look at the pictures now and be like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was my first victory. And then Morgan never competed again. He said he wanted to help me and then Merkel win our pro card. That following year, he took Merkel to USA's and won Mr. USA with Merkel.
That's what's up.
Following year, I won my pro card, but 2018, yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What about you, Brandon? What was your first like?
First one was Jesus. I think it was the Battle of New Hampshire for OCB.
Okay.
It was men's physique. I turned pro for OCB way back then, and then like I was working with a guy named Matt Puglia at the time, and me and Matt just like we went on a rampage. We just like I think we won like 7 out of the next like 8 shows of men's physique because we rolled into like pro shows, then we rolled into INBF, WNBF, and then that's where we rolled into the NPC. And like I did a Rhode Island show, the same Rhode Island show that actually you did, Mike.
No shit, really?
You won the overall in bodybuilding with the purple trunks on. That was my first ever NPC show. That Rockstar show. So I finished, and I remember it was Darren. Darren was the head judge, and Jose was there too.
Yeah.
And that was my first NPC men's physique. Like I finished top 3 in the open. So I was just like, all right, that's where like that and the Cutler kind of like separated me from like trying to stay in the natural federation and like kind of move forward with that. And celebration wise, I know that like there was one bad time that I had, and it was after a pro show, and Charlotte even remembers this. I've been so fucking bad. I ended up like we went out, we ended up having like nachos, burgers, then we ended up having like dessert at the restaurant. Then on the way home, I'm like, fuck it. Like I drove myself home because she drove back to her apartment at the time, and I ended up picking up like freaking like 8 Reese's cups, like Ben and Jerry's, like house that shit, dude. I ended up throwing up. I passed out on the floor.
Oh
like,
shit!
It was so fucking bad. Charlotte always tells that story because like she's like, I can't, like she had to like wake me up the next morning. She's like, what the fuck happened? And I'm just like, pukes all over the goddamn toilet. Like I was so bad. But
worse than the night of drinking, bro. Worse than the night of
I'm like
drinking.
Dude, it's so like when you like, and that's when I learned, like, dude, you can't binge. Like,
You can't binge. No, you cannot binge. Like, it's not worth it.
It's not worth
like,
it. Even when, like, even now, like after we eat cheat meals, now me and her talked about it today. We're just like, you feel like shit the next day. Like, yeah, it might help you with your lift later on that day, but like, you just feel out of it. And you just like, it's not.
Yeah, depending on what you eat.
To you anymore.
Yeah, because when I eat something like real greasy, it don't sit in my stomach too right.
No, like when you first start bodybuilding, yeah, like you do that shit. And we all have done the dumb shit in the beginning, but now it's like, I mean, Universe was my 19th show. There was one year I did like 7 shows in like a span of like 10 weeks. And it was just like, I went bam, 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 bam. I was just rolling on all like cylinders. I was just like, fuck it. Why not? I'm getting better as I go. Let's keep going. But I mean, like now it's a lot different. I mean, I'm not doing men's physique anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the quality is now is like putting on tissue and getting bigger. It's like men's physique. You're capped at a certain look. You know what I mean? Especially in that natural federation.
Yeah.
You know, you're capped on what you can look like and how big you can get. But now the goal is to get as big as I can. So
that's it.
Let's fucking do it.
Well, these edibles are kicking my ass, but I'm trying.
He said they're kicking my ass.
What about you?
Heard that.
Yeah. So 2018, the Rhode Island Nicky Navis's show when he was still promoting in the NPC. Jose was judging. It wasn't a big crazy show, but like
it wasn't.
it was such an improved package for me for my first NPC show. Like my legs were really in for the first time, my hamstrings, all that. So it was like a good look for me at the time. And I remember standing there and they said, all right, and in first place, number whatever, light heavyweights. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I fucking won. Won.
Dude, you look good.
Like I was like, this is crazy.
You must hit the end button.
And then
grabbable.
Then I stood there and I completely forgot you do an overall. Like I was just geeked out of my mind. I was like, I won. Hell yeah.
No, you look good. I remember.
You got to stay around for the overall. All right. And then I remember they said pose down music. Bro, I did nothing but hit a class most muscular at different angles for about 60 seconds. Just turned and just ding, ding. I didn't follow anybody around the stage. I didn't do anything. I just hit most musculars.
Yeah.
And then they called it and I got the overall and I don't know what I did. I did my hand to victory and all that, and it was really cool. My parents were at that show, so that was cool to like kind of be like, all right, he's not just like crazy. He's kind of good at this. He's kind of good at this.
Good at this. He's not wasting his time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went and binged. We had pizza. Boy, I had ice cream, and then when we got back to Portland, we had Chinese. And I remember we were sitting at the Chinese restaurant, and I knew like I couldn't finish my food, but like I was like,
keep going.
I ordered this whole plate, and I remember I ate it, and I hit this point where I had to like, I was like, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like I got up, bro, I had to unbutton my pants. Like I couldn't wear my pants buttoned anymore. I went into the bathroom. I tried to shit. I couldn't shit. I tried to throw up. No. I couldn't throw up. Yeah. I was like, it hurt so bad. Like my stomach felt like it was
something had to come out, but it wasn't.
Something had to come out, but it could not do it. And I went back to the table and I couldn't sit down. So I just stood the rest of the meal. Went home. And because I was still young into bodybuilding. So it's like, as soon as I got a little bit of what might be hunger, I ate some donuts. It just hurt again. And I remember I spent the whole night. I didn't sleep at all. I took my shirt off. I put the fan in the window and I laid there with my stomach just up in the air, sweating profusely. Bro, it was terrible.
Saying to yourself, like, why did I do this?
See, at least I threw up and passed out.
It was awful.
At least you got it out. It's the worst.
I got it out.
It ain't coming out.
I couldn't imagine,
because I had that happen to me before.
I couldn't imagine passing out and still having that all in your stomach.
It was terrible. In the next and I got crazy edema from it the next day. Like,
yeah,
my socks were like this tight around my
ankles.
Oh, dude, yeah, so much water retention in your ankles.
I probably went up like 25 pounds the next. It was crazy.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, it was terrible.
You pulled a Larry Wheels.
It's straight up, man. And I'll never. It only takes doing it once to never do it again.
Oh yeah, that was the first and a last time that shit ever will transpire.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right, boys, but I gotta get a meal in. I'm high as fuck, and it's only getting worse.
That's a bet, yeah, for sure.
I gotta go give the wifey some attention.
Yes, indeed. DFLEXX checking out, man. You guys have a good night.
Yes, sir.
See you, boys.
Yep.
See you.